Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, today we are once again going to recite the poetry an elementary school classroom in a slum. Okay, poem 2 an elementary elementary school classroom. Let me write a little bit below. Home to an elementary school classroom in a slum by Stephen Spender. Let me write here. By Stephen Spender. Okay? Spender it is what I am writing. Okay? Stephen Spender. So already in my last video I have explained two stanzas of this poem. So once again I will revise those stanzas and will explain the remaining stanzas. So before moving ahead, let me write some difficult words and their meanings from stanza 1. First word is gusty. Gusty means stormy. Gusty means stormy. Next word is weighed down. Weighed down means depressed. Depressed due to burden. Depressed due to burden. Seeming, paper seeming, boy. Paper seeming boy means lean and thin boy. Reciting means telling. Reciting means telling. Then stanza 2. Capes. Capes means a place of highland. Capes means a place of highland. A place of highland. So I hope you have written, dear students. I am going to rub it and write more words and their meanings. You can also take the screenshot. Now stanza 3rd. Slyly. Slyly means secretly. Slyly means secretly. Cramped means narrow. Cramped means narrow. Slag means waste material. Slag means waste material. Heap means pile. file. Blot means stain. Blot means stain. Blot means stain or slur. Azure means deep blue. Azure means deep blue. Azure means deep blue. Okay. So this is all about the hard words and their meanings. Now, let us first start with about the poet Stephen Spender, 1909 to 1995, was an English poet and an essayist. He left University College, Oxford, without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Books by Spender include Poems of Dedication, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an autobiography, World Within World. In an elementary school classroom in a slum, the poem which we are going to read, he has concentrated on themes of social justice and class inequalities. Before you read, have you ever visited or seen an elementary school in a slum? What does it look like? The poet here asks us a question. So whether the readers ask the readers a question, whether readers have visited any slum area. So what does a slum area look like? Now look at stanza 1. Far, far from gusty waves, the children's faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed-down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnal disease, his lesson from his desk. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel game in tree room other than this. In the first stanza, the poet tells us about the pitiable condition, the miserable condition of the students who are sitting in a slum classroom. The poet tells us that these children are far from gusty waves, far from stormy waves. They have no access to enjoy the nature. They are far from gusty waves, far from violent waves of the sea, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. So further the poet says that these children are like rootless weeds, unwanted grass. So these children here have been compared to unwanted grass which is rootless. The way unwanted grass after becoming rootless it gets dry. So in the same way the children's faces has got dry. The tall girl and their hair scattering on their pale face. The tall girl with her weighed down head. In the classroom, a tall girl is sitting and her head, and she is depressed due to burden. The girl is depressed. Here, weighed down head means the girl is depressed due to burden. The paper seeming boy with rat eyes and the lean and thin boy looks like and a paper seeming boy is sitting in the class, and his eyes, the poet compares his eyes with rat's eyes. The stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones, and that boy is unlucky successor of twisted bones residing. The stunted means the growth has stopped, the development of the boy had stopped. He is stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnal disease. So he is also the victim of same disease which his father was suffering from. So here he is suffering from gnal disease which has been transferred to him from his father. It's a genetic disease. His lesson from his desk. He is reading his lesson from his desk. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, and at the back of the class, one unnoted, sweet and young boy is sitting. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel game, and the eyes of this boy is dreaming of squirrel game in tree room other than this. So this boy is not paying attention what is being taught in the class. This boy is thinking, according to the poet, this boy might be thinking about squirrel's game in the jungle, in the tree room. Okay, so this boy is hoping for the freedom. This boy also wants to play freely like those squirrel, the way they play in the forest. The boy wants to be free like a squirrel, so that is why he is dreaming of squirrel's game. On sour cream walls, donations. And now here, after describing the children, the poet describes the classroom. The poet tells us that on the sour cream walls of the classroom, on the faded walls of the classroom, the names of the person, the names of the people who gave the donation, their names have been written there. Shakespeare's head, cloudless dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belt, flowery, Tyrolese valley. So, what were the pictures were there on the wall? The poet tells us. First of all, the poet tells us the names of those people who had donated. Their names have been written there. Second, he tells us that Shakespeare's head is there, the picture of Shakespeare's head and the cloudless dawn and civilized dome riding all cities. So on the map, the world of rich and civilized people have been shown. In that slum classroom, there is a map on which these things of rich and civilized people have been shown. It shows, the map is showing the civilized world. The map is here. Shakespeare's head is there. Here Shakespeare, represents the literary excellence. Okay, so Shakespeare was a great poet. So the picture of a great poet is there, and it is of no use for these slum children. Cloudless at dawn, these pictures are there. Civilized dawn, riding all cities, belt, flowery Tyrolese valley. Tyrolese valley is a beautiful valley of Australia. So it has been shown on the walls. A picture of this valley has been shown on the walls of the classroom. Open-handed map awarding the world its word, and the map which has been made by rich people. The map which has been made by the rich people here is an imposition of these children who are deprived in every way. Even they are not getting the proper food, they are underfed. It is very hard for them to meet the both ends. So for them, the world which has been shown in the map, it is nothing but an imposition. It is being imposed by the rich and powerful people of the world. Rich, powerful and civilized people of the world have made this map, and they are imposing this map to these children, to this world in which these children live. And yet, for those children, these windows, not this map, their world, were all their futures painted with a fog. Further, the poet tells us that for these children, the map is not their world. Their world is where they are sitting. The slum classroom, the slum area in which they live, it is their world. Okay, that map is not their world. A narrow street sealed with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes and stars of the world. Narrow lanes are closed. It is darkness there. They are far from these natural surroundings. They are far from river, capes and stars of the worlds. They are far from these things. They do not have any access to the natural beauty. Third stanza. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. In the third stanza, the poet says that surely Shakespeare is wicked. Here, Shakespeare expresses the literary excellence. So, not wicked, it is wicked, sorry. Shakespeare is wicked, literary excellence is wicked, because, dear students, these children are not getting proper food to eat. So, it is no, it is of no use literary to show them a great poet and his literary excellence. It is of no use for them. So that is why Shakespeare is wicked. Shakespeare's it's tongue sleeping. Shakespeare's literary excellence is nothing for them. It is of no use, it is of no value, because these students cannot understand it. The map is a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal from lives that slyly turn in their crammed holes from fog to endless night. Further, the poet says that the map of beautiful world which is there in the classroom, it is a bad example for these children, because it is out of their reach. They could not reach in this world. They do not have any access to this world. So that is why it is a bad example for these children. The map is bad example for these children, because the map is showing the world of civilized people, the beautiful world, and it is just contrast to the world where these children live in. So that is why it is of no use. It is a bad example for these children. With ships and sun and love. So it's a ships, sun, they stand for natural beauty and civilized world. So that is why the poet says that it is tempting them to steal. It is making them ambitious to achieve these things by stealing. For lives that slyly turn into their cramped hole from fog to endless night, and their life is secretly it has turned into a cramped hole, a narrow hole, and their morning starts with the fog, and it is endless night. It endless because they do not witness the warmth of the sun the way the people in a civilized world witness. On the slag heap, these children were skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on the stone. So on the slag heap, slag means waste material, heap means pile. So their houses are made on the waste materials, piles of waste materials. If you ever get a chance to visit in slum area, so you will see the heaps of waste material, heaps of garbage. Okay, so they are on the garbage of their houses are on the garbage, and these children, they are wearing the spectacles which glass of which have been mended, repaired. It is like a broken piece of bottle. The glass of the spectacle is like broken pieces of bottle. All of their time and space are foggy slum. So their future is, all are their time, so their present and past and future is that foggy slum. So blot their maps and slums as a big doom. So on that, here the poet says that on that beautiful map which has been shown to these children, it's a blot, it's a stain, it's a slur. Okay, this slum area is a slum, is a slur, is a stain, is a blot on that beautiful map. In the last stanza, the poet says, unless governors, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. So break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongue run naked into books, and white and green leaves open history theirs whose language is the sun. So in the last stanza, the poet gives a clarion call to governor, inspector, visitors, teachers to take step for the betterment of these children, to improve the condition of these children. These children must be taken out from the slum. They must be taken to the civilized world so that they can also take the opportunities, they can also utilize the opportunities which the world offers for civilized world. So they must be taken to civilized world. And who can do it according to the poet? The governor, inspector, visitor. They can do it. Okay, dear students. So this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. So here the poet says that the map which has been shown, the beautiful, the map on which the beautiful and civilized world has been shown, this map will become the world of these children, and he says that break this window, destroy this slum world. It means the poet here gives a clarion call to governor, visitor, inspector to bring these children out from this world and take them to the world which is meant for civilized people, rich people, powerful people. These children also must be taken to that world. They must have access to that world. And show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on deep sands, and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open history theirs whose language is the sun. So the poet says that these children must be given a proper education. They should also read the book, and they should also express themselves. They should have freedom to express themselves. The poet says that they must be freed from, they are like captive there. So they must be freed from this slum area, and they must be taken to the civilized world so that they can also get the quality education and they can express themselves. Not only they can read the book, they can also witness the beauty of the nature, and they can also read the nature. Okay, and in the last line the poet says that only those person can create history whose language is the sun. It means those who are in civilized world, those who have access to the nature, only such people can create a history. In the same way, if these children will be taken to that world, they have also the capabilities of creating the history. They can also create the history. Okay, so it's all about the poem. So dear students, we have already discussed the poetic devices used in this poem and points to remember used in this poem. We have all discussed. I have also shared a lot of materials with you. So go through those materials and get mastery over the lessons. And in my next video, we will be practicing examination type questions from this poem. Okay, so it's all about this video. See you tomorrow.